Wellington. So excited you could join us all the way from beautiful Sao Paulo. You are
Oh,
just such a marvel, and we're so excited to get to hear more about the Doutores da Alegria. And I'm studying Portuguese right now, and on my lesson on Thursday, my instructor helped me write. I guess I could have flubbed it, but I wanted to let you know that I wanted to introduce you in Portuguese. So, Wellington, eu só queria dizer que admiro o seu trabalho e gosto de ver como os tutores de alegria estão a ter impacto com as crianças e com os pacientes que estão sofrendo com a pandemia. Wellington, I'm just so touched by your work and to see how the Doctors of Joy are making a meaningful impact on children and patients that are suffering during the pandemic and also from various illnesses. Wellington, thank you so much for joining. You're just such a bright light. How are you today? And what time is it there?
it's 1:53 precisely p.m.
Nice.
Oh,
So
Megs, thank you
I've
so much. Thank you for the amazing introduction in Portuguese. It's flawless.
I tried.
And thank you for this opportunity to talk about the importance and the power of joy amidst adversity. So thank you so very much, and thank you all for being here.
So Wellington, I would love for you to share a little bit with our participants today about what the Doctors of Joy is all about. How did it
Okay,
start, and what do you guys do?
this actually started in New York City in '86 with Michael Christensen, who was he's one of the founders of the Big Apple Circus. And but nothing was planned. It was all very organic. He went to a visit at a hospital, and then he decided to go in as a clown, and he decided to parody the medical routines. And the impact was so amazing that the hospital asked him to come back, and then it became a program. And I joined the Big Apple Circus Clown Care Unit in '88, and then worked with them for 3 years, returned to Brazil and started a sister program. And so today I am very happy to be sharing this moment with over 100 clowns that have been working with us, and over 2.5 million kids visited in all these 25 years of work in the hospitals in Brazil.
Wow, that's just so incredible. And you can really see the joy on those kids' faces. And I remember chatting with you the other day, and you shared with me that when you guys first started doing what you were doing, there were other groups across the country that started mimicking or were inspired by and kind of created their own clown outfits. But you found a way to work together with them. Can you say a bit more about that?
Sure. See, I had never thought of being a clown. I went to New York to study musical theater. I wanted to be a superstar on Broadway, then move on to Hollywood and win an Oscar. And then exactly because we had clown
Wellington
classes in
Nogueira,
school.
on behalf of Armageddon, Beach Party, and all of those here today at Reinventaissance, I hereby present you with your Oscar. Congratulations. There it happened. Dreams come true.
Gracias, thank you.
Would you like to
Obrigado.
thank the Academy?
Yes, I would like to thank the Academy for this amazing moment. Unforgettable. Thank you for making a dream come true. I love it. Oh, but anyway, going back, so the whole thing was I was invited to see this program, and I said, clowns in hospitals, it doesn't match. And boy, was I wrong. So when I saw it for the first time, I said, this is a new form of art. And we're professionals, we're highly trained, we invest a lot of time in our training. And the minute we came to Brazil and we started this work with all the caring so that people would take us seriously and fund us, because people were not really interested in funding clowns in hospitals because they thought the idea was weird. So we had to show them it was professional. We worked together with the doctors and nurses and all that. And then these people who saw the news and heard about us, they were so moved by the work that they wanted to do it, but they had no training.
That's the best.
All we need is love. And yes, we do need love, but like technique is important in a hospital too. So I remember they started to appear, and I said, well, I have to teach these people how to do the job right. And then a consultant said, you're going to give the gold to your competition.
The trade doctors enjoy secrets.
Exactly. You're going to dispute the same money. This is not good. And I said, wait a minute, let me look at the situation from a clown standpoint. Wait a minute, my competition is not with someone in the north of Brazil trying to do this. My competition is with the lack of training, the lack of experience. So yes, I am going to feed the competition. And then we started a network of cooperation with all the sister programs. At the time, there were over 100 similar initiatives in Brazil. And we said, we're going to give you the training, the necessary training for you to do the work safely with professionalism, even though you're not professional clowns. But there is an exchange here, ethics and quality in the work, because we're all building a profession of the future, clown doctoring. And now look at that. You see, we are in this big open air hospital, and because of COVID, locked in our houses, just like hospitalized children, yearning for the day we're going to get discharged. Well, end of the story. Today, it's over 100. It's over 1,500 similar groups. And
wow, 1,500 similar groups across Brazil?
Yes. And so we're really working to turn this into a profession of the future. Doutores da Alegria has created a school also to train professional clowns so that they can look at the world and see how can we interfere with our art and make it better. Because I believe that when the first clown walked into the hospital playing with the doctor figure, he was actually evoking fools, jesters, shamans, all the lineage to come back into the 21st century and be close to people and say, hey, we don't deny what's wrong. We don't deny the problems, but can we connect to what's good, to what's healthy, to what's live? And so that's what we've been doing for the past, actually, I said 25 years. I'm so, excited to be here, but it's actually 30 in September.
Wellington, it's such an inspiration. And what have you been doing? Because I imagine during COVID-19, there's not room for a lot of space in hospitals. There's not room for extra people. A lot of the time, loved ones can't necessarily see patients. So how have you been keeping up the magic and the love of the Doctors of Joy during the pandemic?
Well, our first, at the moment we received the news that we couldn't go into the hospitals anymore, we thought, how can we still be there? And the first impulse was to do videos. And so we started creating videos and putting them in our websites, in our Instagram, but first sending them to the kids in the hospitals. And there was a company that was so touched by it that they gave us tablets. And yeah, they gave us tablets. They donated tablets to us. And then we were able to talk to the nurses, and they were fantastic because we tested a new way of visiting the kids with a tablet, but the nurses, they offered to be the hands and the legs of the clowns. So they would take the tablets to the kids' bedsides, and then we would be able to visit. And I tell you, I think the most beautiful lesson we learned is that even though we were on camera, it was still so possible to have a strong connection. I remember one of the kids, he was like a preteen, and he was really in a bad mood. And we asked him why. And he said, well, because I'm stuck here. I said, so what is it that you'd like to do? He says, well, maybe sing. And then we just said, sing for us. And he just started singing, and he pumped out the song. It was just a very beautiful, moving moment where like time stood still. And that's when we felt, again, the power of art, connection, love, and resilience from those children, because they are amazing heroes. And
wow. And through your clowning, you also help to give them a space to breathe and focus on something else besides being sick or being stuck in the hospital.
Oh, yeah, because see, we play a lot with a doctor character. So we present as ourselves as doctors. We have our lab coats and all that. And of course, we do clown procedures. Sometimes you need to extract something that's soft in the head, and it turns out to be a red nose. And you just got to put it on the right place. And many times we've had like moments where we celebrate Nurse Day. And so we have a parade with the clowns, and then the nurses parade too. And the doctors, they get to vote. And of course, they all tie because we love them all.
Everybody wins.
Yes, everybody wins. Exactly. So, and this documentary that you saw, he was made by my wife, director Mara Mourão, because I would come home every day and say, yeah, everything an actor needs, a director.
Yeah.
And a good one. He says, stay there. And I do. And so, but going back, so I would come home and I would say, you won't believe what happened today. And she says, boy, that would be a movie. Second time I did this, she said, that is a movie. The third time, she said, I'm making this movie. And so she worked. It was a real labor of love of 3 years in the making to really being visible and film the scenes so that the kids wouldn't feel the interference. And
right.
So
yeah, because you wouldn't want them to be shy or feel like inhibited
or
right?
acting for the camera.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is we are capable of witnessing moments that change the way we look at life. And it feels very selfish to be cultivating that to ourselves only. It's so important that we share and spread. And because, especially now, it's so important to cultivate hope. And art is definitely the way for us to do that.
That was really, really so great. Seeing that just takes me to another place. There's a narrative, but you just kind of experience a different reality, or we're brought back to this moment of feeling like kids. So you empowered the clowns to create what they wanted, or what was the prompt? I mean, that was pretty elaborate.
Yeah, they had classes so that they could, learn how to focus right and use the right lighting and write the storyline so that they could develop everything and then film it in a good time so that they wouldn't be going over and trying and erring and getting it right. I feel that today we have clowns and movie directors because they started to, from the beginning to now, the clowns, I mean, there are some pieces that are so moving, so touching. And so I feel that, again, it was making friends with the imagery of the movies and the video. And for us who are so used to being there in the moment, in connection. And it was beautiful to see how they put the poetry, how they were able to really study to transmit through the video all the joy and especially the honor that we have every day of work. So I want to thank you in the name of all the organization and all the clowns who are part of Doctors of Joy for this opportunity, because it's one of the most beautiful tributes we could have to be here with you guys sharing
Aww. Well, that feels really nice. We feel really lucky that you're joining us. And we managed to get through all of our tech hoops, Wellington. We're here together on the same screen at the same time. I love that.
Yes.
So I asked folks, so basically as you were talking and as that video was going, I got like literally 15 texts like, oh my God, I love that guy. Oh my God, this guy's great. Oh my God, how'd you find him? So thanks, Ken, for connecting us. We love you. And I took a few questions from the audience, so I'll just ask them to you now. So here goes. Do you have online classes?
No, not yet. We started developing online classes only for the students of the clown school. The clown school is 14 years old and it's not open to the public yet because we decided to work first with youth in social vulnerability situations who have the talent and the yearning to become clowns, but they wouldn't be able to study. So we, for the past 14 years, we have trained professional clowns from this group of youth. Actually, this artist we just saw, Anderson,
He's so great. Oh, wow.
Yeah, of the school.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing.
Yes. But you see, they leave the school, they go to the world, they have to have at least 3 years of experience outside of the school to be able to audition for the program. Yeah. So so that they really, when they come, they're more seasoned also, and they've seen what's around. So then they are able to compare what we have with what's out there.
Yeah. And like sometimes at first clowning can be very like ostentatious. And there's a certain like level of being both ostentatious and also subtle that you can see is very important to these interactions that they're having, because they have to be able to really read the room and read the patient.
Yes. And it's really about not having anything prepared and working off of what the child gives us, even the no, because we always ask permission to walk in. We only go in if the child says yes.
Aw.
But what we learn is exactly that sometimes you get a no, but you can sense if that no is like not really very firm. So if we can explore it, then we play with it. All right, I'm leaving, and I'll be back next week. Okay, so see you.
Oh,
I'm just
if
returning
you
to
let me
make
in
sure
next week.
that it was clear to you, that it was clear to me that I'm not supposed to go in. You see, so when you start playing with the no, sometimes it becomes a yes. And so it's co-creation all the time.
Um,
And back 30 years ago, we didn't have these expressions around us like
right,
co-creation, like disruptive. The
right.
hospital is born in the army. It's a very, very old structure. And then all of a sudden you put a duo of artists there who are very disruptive, and they make room for the human, for the laughter, for the joy to penetrate that space. So it's insidious.
You are too. I love it. I'm just like I feel. I mean, my heart feels really full. And Ken, who's our common friend and our common link to many of the other folks here, he wrote to ask you, Wellington, what experience since the pandemic has made you weep deeply in terms of how much joy you have brought to a particular patient?
Uh, 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 it's hard to single one out, but because I feel that among our patients, we had the children, we had the doctors, we had the nurses, and we all became one. And also in trying to inspire people, also to help those who had no condition to have a job, or who were all of a sudden left out. And so those were the patients, the indirect patients we had, that really made us suffer the most. And because in the hospitals, we could tell that everybody was being taken care of, and and but outside of the hospital, the institution, and the big hospital we became, we saw a lot of misery and poverty. We are still seeing, and we are hoping that this ends soon. And we're all, along with other artists and movements, supporting one another so that we can change the landscape. But hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, and you're just getting, like I said, so much love. Steve Snyder said that he showed this to his wife, and she immediately knew the program, as her cousin has volunteered as a clown in Sao Paulo.
Ah,
Wow.
how wonderful.
I know. And Harris, who's part of Honk, who you'll meet in a little bit, says he works in healthcare and says he will share with healthcare worker members and they will love it. And you're getting a lot of bravos and just a lot of love. Another question too, how is Doctors of Joy set up? Are you a .org? Are you a nonprofit? What's the
Yeah.
biz structure?
Doutores da Alegria.org.br. So we are a nonprofit, and the nonprofit actually is 25 years, but the activity has been on for 30 years. Because in the beginning, we needed to be really established before we became a full organization. And over 100 clowns, 100 professional clowns have, worked with us in these 30 years. And over 2.5 million children visited in public hospitals of São Paulo, Recife, and in the Northeast. And in Rio de Janeiro, we have a program that is inspired by a New York program I used to work with when I lived there. It's called Hospital Audiences. And it works like a nonprofit agency that books artists for different healthcare venues. And so we asked hospital audiences to be able to copy that initiative, and we do that in Rio. It's called Hospital Audiences. And so we have like all kinds of artists. We have musicians, we have jugglers, we have dancers, poets. It's just amazing to see what happens when they come, and they just offer their art to the patients, and magic takes place, and helps elaborate a lot of what's going on in our minds and in our hearts, when we are hospitalized.
Yeah. Well, having definitely experienced some of that myself, it's like if there was a clown reading my MRI brain scans to me, that might have been a lot less nerve-wracking than a doctor in a white coat, or he could have had a nose. I would have enjoyed that. So I definitely understand that vantage point, and I think that what you do is valuable beyond measure, and I think you've inspired a lot of people here today, Wellington. And folks, if you want to chat with Wellington more, he and several of our morning presenters will be in a breakout session that's called Art as a Tool for Social Activism. And Wellington, I feel like I've made a new friend. I really admire you and your work. And by way of transition, I'd love to share with our audience here another one of those brilliant videos. This one had me in stitches too. You don't know which one, so it'll be a surprise.
Yes.
But thank you so much. We love you, and keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I can't wait to see.
Thank you. Congratulations on this amazing event. Ken, thank you so much for connecting us. And I thank you all. And yes, art in the vein, direct. That's what we need. Thank you. This Vera, the clown you saw, she was the first artist I hired back in '91 when I started, and she's still with us to this day. And so I'm very happy that we were able to show her that it's a form of honoring her.
Thank you, Wellington. We love you.
I love you guys too, and thank you.
Keep those great videos coming.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. And our next guest is waiting in the wings. Thank you so much, Wellington.